On 3rd of October 2012, King's Hall in Stoke-on-Trent was the venue for an event to promote overseas trade. The City Council, in partnership with UK Trade and Investment, North Staffordshire Chamber and Staffordshire University, was responding to a government challenge to increase the value of our exports. The event was just one part of the Council's mandate for change, which seeks to transform Stoke-on-Trent into a great working city. Recognising the scale of our ambition, the Minister of State for Trade and Investment, Lord Green, agreed to be the event's keynote speaker. This film summarises the highlights of what turned out to be a successful and dynamic event.
This afternoon is about our second pillar of the mandate for change, developing existing businesses to help them grow and create even more jobs. And by allowing and facilitating an event like this, it basically gives our local businesses, particularly the smaller businesses, the opportunity to see how their businesses can grow whilst remaining in the UK and particularly in Stoke-on-Trent.
We have a very diverse spectrum of businesses in this city. We are the global centre for ceramics. Perhaps less known is we have some very high-tech, high-end businesses that are carving huge niches in a global market. And in addition, we have some very new and exciting, innovative young businesses focusing in on new media, digital technology, ICT. And of those, about 2,000, give or take, are what we would classically call SMEs. Supporting our SMEs is pivotal to delivering the mandate for change, not only in terms of domestic growth, but in terms of export potential. And this is where this meeting comes together. About new markets, about new horizons, how can you really capitalise on this potentially unlimited global market?
The companies that get into export markets, on average, gain significantly in productive efficiency, find growth opportunities, are more profitable, survive longer, create more jobs. If you've never done it before, it's a daunting prospect. You're a small business, never gone into the export markets. It's not risk-free, it's not straightforward, it can be daunting. But we actually have an extra £13 million to spend, and that's going on reducing the cost of market access work, market studies for small companies. And Doug tells me that already 6 companies from Stoke have taken him up on this new offer. It will go to supporting more companies participating in trade missions, and the Chamber is leading a couple of missions over the coming months. The job is very clear, it's to make it as easy as possible for business to grow, create jobs, accessing the international markets.
There are an awful lot of people in England and in Stoke who have businesses that don't bother about export. And I freely and totally put all my hands up and say we are and were that business. And I was completely typical of the kind of person who thought, well, I don't think we need to do that. We've changed our tune. We've now realised that we absolutely have to do that. And we need to go out and we need to find those places. Now, of course, we find out that UKTI are a completely brilliant partner to work with.
I think that the real value that we add, and why I think UKTI is the strong organisation that it is supporting export, is that we're very flexible, and our job is to help you with whatever it is that you need. We can do some quite straightforward things. We can do your market report. We can lay out the demographics, what the market opportunities are. We can tell you who the competitors are, but we can also do a lot more. We can certainly list who potential business partners could be for you, but where we really begin to add value is where we use the full force of the Foreign Office network abroad. All of the expertise of our staff, but what we call the halo effect of the government supporting you while you're doing business abroad.
On your doorstep, you do have one of the best chambers in the country. We are currently the Chamber of the Year for International Trade, a badge which we're very proud of. We're behind you with someone who you can trust. We're a team of people who will help you with the preparation and will really make sure that you are ready to make that leap of faith. We give you real and effective help and support to help you make that leap of faith, but crucially at your own pace and in your own time. We offer planning services to help you plan your visits, to help you plan your markets. We have a translation service, we'll help you with your travel arrangements, we'll help you with the negotiations. We will do everything we possibly can to make sure that you can export and get your goods to new markets.
Does the panel believe that exporting a company's products and/or services, and particularly to certain countries, increases the chances of their ideas, know-how, designs and brands being stolen?
I think there are issues of intellectual property theft in some countries. China's a much discussed example. And UK Trade and Investment is very conscious of these issues and is there to help. And for example, in the case of China, we have now put into our embassy in Beijing an intellectual property expert who's there partly to engage with the Chinese about the policy issues, but partly to help British businesses who run into problems of this kind.
How much of a barrier is language to successful initiation of trade with non-English speaking countries, and what suggestions do you have for companies who need to bridge a language barrier?
It is about just understanding that you have to build it into how you do business, the costs of translation, having potentially an interpreter and prepare all the various things you would need to do in that country. So it's not just about the language, it would also include understanding the regulations at play in that country and so on.
One of the great competitive advantages of this country is we do speak the world's business language. It's really quite wise, I think, to have an element of an ability, even if it's just the pleasantries, the courtesies, in the language of countries which are particular priorities for you.
I would say 80% of the effort is spent by very small companies, often meeting criteria, rather than going straight to the marketplace.
So streamlining the processes involved in export support would be a vital
Absolutely.
add-on. I think as an advisor, my own experience over the years is sometimes advising companies which kind of funding programs might be most applicable to them because of the nature of the processes they might need to go through.
It's not just about going and doing the exhibition and then flying back. You need to then take the opportunity. You set a few days aside afterwards because customers, if they're interested in your products, they want to see you go to the factory, they want to talk to you, show you their factory and say, how can your products improve this?
We're on the micro end of SMEs. We're not a big company, and yet we can do it. So if we can do it with really quite limited resource, other companies can.
I would like Chamber of perhaps as a bit to be a bit of a clearinghouse where I could say, right, I've got a product going out to China. It's this type of product. Can you tell me, is there something in our patch that would give me 10, 20 minutes to answer that specific question like you had? And if you'd had that, you could have got in touch with them, they could have said, you need this form, done and dusted. And it's that sort of clearinghouse approach that is needed.
I'm not sure that we've ever considered doing a launch through an embassy. And I think it's a really neat idea, and I think it's a different way of taking a product into the market from the traditional channels that we have, which might be a trade fair or a trade exhibition, or using our sales guys to launch it through the distributor network. Doing something with the cachet of having it in an embassy.
We're putting the embassy to good use, and it goes from all ends of the scale. So it's not a sparkly media launch, for a sexy product. It's real business for real customers.
Some of the things you put on here in terms of time, money, fear, in terms of you working with UKTI in the last 12 months or so, has that helped? Could UKTI be doing more? What's your honest...
I think it's helped. Especially when the email comes through from Russia saying, trade mission, museums, do you want to go? Great. It's somebody I can ring up and they can help.
I know that we can do it. I know that we have to do it if we care about sustainable growth in this country and job creation. And I am really excited that we've got together this event this afternoon, and it's great to see Stoke City taking this forward in this way. And as far as I'm concerned, I and UK Trade and Investment are here to help in any which way we can.